Hey, what's up, guys, and thanks for joining us again on SFL e-commerce YouTube. Today, we're going to be talking about something I refer to as the four-lever method, which is basically a framework for thinking about and approaching your omni-channel strategy for your brand, right? So there's a ton of different things out there that you can do, a ton of different channels, tools, apps, etc. How do you decide what's going to have the biggest impact on your brand, where you should put the most attention, what might have the quickest impact, and ultimately how the combination of those things is going to produce the results that you're looking for. We do have a presentation that goes along with this as well, which you'll see me going through on the video. If you want a copy of that, you can get that via the link below. I highly recommend that you do that for two reasons. One of which, obviously, you're going to be able to follow along with us, but there's also a couple of links in that presentation that you can use to kind of do some of these calculations and input your own brand's numbers and understand where you're at. So without further ado, let me jump straight into it, and we hope you get some real value out of this. So again, the four-lever method to e-com growth, how to approach an omni-channel marketing strategy specific to your brand and scale past 7 figures per month. The four-lever method is about understanding the 4 most important metrics for driving overall growth of an e-commerce store and outlining the tools and strategies most effective for influencing those metrics. So the 4 key metrics are acquisition or new traffic, conversion rate, average order value, and purchase frequency, which is a direct correlation to lifetime value. Understanding the relationship between these 4 metrics will help you better to develop and prioritize objectives for your brand. So again, just kind of understanding these 4 key levers that you can pull on to affect change and affect growth for your store, understanding the strategies that fall into each of those categories, and being able to create an omni-channel approach that fits your brand specifically and the audience that you're ultimately going after. So understanding the 4 levers: acquisition traffic, obviously that's a simple one. It's just the new visitors coming to your site. Conversion rate is the rate at which those visitors are actually converting and creating purchases or whatever your main objective may be. Average order value is the average amount that those users are spending when they place an order on your store. And purchase frequency is the average amount of times that users are purchasing from your store throughout their lifetime. Average order value you can find a lot of the time in Shopify, Ecommerce, whatever platform you're using. Same thing with Google Analytics. Conversion rate as well. Purchase frequency, sometimes it's a little tough to find those numbers in some of these native platforms. What we can do is calculate that by just dividing the total number of orders you've had over a given time. Usually you're going to use the lifetime of your store, divided by the total number of customers over that same period of time. So the next step would be to understand how those metrics play together, relate, bounce off of one another to ultimately create your total revenue or your total bottom line. One of the easiest ways to do that is to actually use this sheet, which we've attached here in the presentation, which kind of makes quick calculations just to show how each of these metrics changes and how that changes your overall store revenue. The main point of this and what you really need to take from this practice is understanding that, a lot of times brands can fall into the rut of every time they're looking to improve their sales, the one place that they look is that top of funnel traffic acquisition. So they're looking at how can we improve our SEO rankings? How can we improve the returns that we're getting on our Facebook ad spend? Or how can we scale the amount that we're spending on Facebook ads? And those are all great things. And those are obviously, if done successfully, are going to improve the amount of revenue that your store is creating. But that doesn't mean that that's always the easiest way to do it or the quickest way to do it for your brand. More often than not, a lot of times it's going to be a lot quicker and a lot easier for you to affect that same amount of change or, growth in your bottom line by positively affecting the conversion rate, the average order value, or the lifetime value. So in this example, we're looking specifically at, just first purchase revenue, not even considering lifetime value or repurchases, and comparing, again, the relationship between traffic, conversion rate, and average order value. So let's look at a standard example where, this is maybe a newer store. They have 20,000 visitors. They're getting a conversion rate of 2%. Still kind of figuring it out on that end, working through some new designs, and their average order value is $80. That brand is going to be producing $32,000 a month in sales. So, let's say they're in a position where man, it's been tight already spending as much as they're spending on ads. The ad campaign is getting a 2-to-1, but it's still not necessarily producing the amount of revenue that they're looking for. It's going to be tough for them to improve on that 2-to-1 being a new store, and they don't quite have the budget to spend more at that 2-to-1 to drive more overall volume. But like we've mentioned, their website design is a little rough. It's missing a lot of best practice elements that we know can traditionally improve conversion rates. And there's a lot that you can do to improve it from that angle. And they don't have any upsells. They don't have any bundles. They're not really doing a lot to drive a higher average order value. So let's say we implement a few of those techniques and strategies, and through that, we're able to improve their conversion rate from 2% to 2.5%. And we're able to improve their average order value from $80 to $100. Just with those two optimizations, they go from doing just over $30,000 a month to doing $50,000 a month without having to spend any more on ads, without having to spend weeks and weeks testing new creatives, testing new audiences, waiting for keyword rankings to improve, finding new influencers to work with. There's a lot quicker and easier things that they were able to implement, given what their opportunities were, to improve conversion rate and average order value and be able to generate that impactful growth on their store revenue. This is a reason that a lot of advanced marketers like to look at the metric of revenue per session, because this really kind of takes into account all of those metrics combined, right? This is the average amount that someone is spending each time they visit your store. So revenue per session is a really good way of looking at everything in a kind of an omni-channel approach. So jumping back over to the presentation, again, the main point of that is just to understand that sometimes for your brand, you're going to be able to have a lot quicker impact in looking at some of these different areas where you can improve metrics other than your traffic. So looking at your conversion rate, your average order value, and your lifetime value. When assessing the current state of a client or a business, it's important to be able to identify those areas of opportunity so that you can kind of quickly come up with different strategies and things that you can do to improve them. Improvements to CRO and AOV, like I said, can usually be made quickly and provide significant results. So, testing a new website banner or adding a subscription feature or something like that can usually be done a lot quicker than improving your ROAS by 50% or scaling your ad spend profitably. Another good way of looking at it is that conversion rate, average order value, and repurchase rate are the only way that you can improve all paid ad channels at once. So if you work on your Facebook ads, you test creatives there, you're going to improve your Facebook ads. If you do the same thing on Google, you're going to improve Google. But if you improve your conversion rate and your average order value, you're going to improve performance on all of those paid channels. No matter what. And that includes influencers, SEO, any traffic that's coming to your site is going to be positively affected by those changes to conversion rate, average order value, and purchase frequency. So where does purchase frequency come into the mix of it all? Purchase frequency is really how you generate that snowball effect of bringing new customers in profitably each month and then retaining those customers to even further improve your bottom line through repeat purchases. So a brand has a really good customer repurchase rate. On average, their customers purchase 5, 6 or more times. They might be looking at their paid ads and saying, okay, well, considering our repurchase rate, let's go after new customers really aggressively to the point where we don't even care if we're just breaking even on new customers because we know that we have that repurchase rate in the back end to really drive our profitability. And the more new customers that we can dump into that funnel, the quicker we're going to grow. So repurchase rate is really kind of where you maximize and extend the value of all of those efforts. So now what we're going to do is kind of look at each of those metrics or categories, however you want to think about it, and consider the different tools, channels, strategies that you can implement to affect change in that category. So what can we do to improve traffic? What can we do to improve conversion rate? What types of channels fall within those buckets? So starting with traffic, an obvious one is going to be Facebook campaigns, any paid ad platforms really. So Google included, Facebook. Another one that's maybe not so common is affiliate and influencer traffic. So whether that's traditional affiliates that you're working with through ShareSale and Reversion or platforms like that, or it's, the TikTok affiliate program where you're working directly with creators, or even turning your customers into influencers through a referral program. Non-branded organic search. So anything that's coming from keywords that are not related to your brand directly. So keywords around your products or the benefits of your products. The reason that we say non-branded, I guess, is because if it's branded search, that's really kind of more of like a retention thing or a retargeting thing. They've heard about your brand at some point, otherwise they wouldn't be searching it. Continuing with traffic, direct mail is a good one for some businesses, especially local service-based businesses. Sending mail out to a specific zip code promoting your brand or your services. Brand partnerships is a unique one. So, finding an e-commerce brand that maybe sells a product similar to yours, has a similar audience, but isn't directly competing, and saying, hey, why don't you promote us to your email list? We'll do the same for you, and kind of swapping traffic in that way. Programmatic is mobile, display, in-app campaigns, PR campaigns. So being featured on, popular publications, websites that also share your target audience. In-person events, depending on the business, so collecting traffic and data from an iPad or QR codes if you're doing, some sort of expos or brand activations. Moving over to conversion rate. So the most obvious one being the UX and UI design of your website or landing page or app or wherever it is that you're driving your traffic. One of the best ways to improve that, especially if you're on Shopify, is doing some CRO A/B testing constantly through an app called Shoplift. So you can, test 2 different homepage banners, 2 different product page layouts, splitting the traffic to each, and seeing which version performs better. Your welcome offer. So do you have an especially attractive offer on your best-selling product for new visitors that are coming to the site, just making it easier for them to make that first decision about buying? Email and SMS welcome series. So are you collecting customer data when they visit? If they don't purchase, are they going into some sort of automation that nurtures them into a purchase through social proof, reviews, highlighting the product benefits and all that kind of good stuff? Email and SMS abandoned cart series. So obviously if someone comes to the site and adds a product to the cart but does not purchase, following up with them with offers and incentives to get them to complete that purchase. Improving conversion rate continued. So this is one that is kind of an afterthought sometimes, but is equally as important, is making adjustments to the targeting on your top of funnel ads. So sometimes the traffic coming in just isn't the right traffic, and you can optimize your site as much as you want, but it's not necessarily going to do anything. So making sure that the audiences you're marketing to are actually relevant and interested in your product, making sure that you're being transparent about what your product or service is, how much it costs, and things like that, so that there's no surprises when people get to the site. There's no point in tricking people or misleading people into getting to your site when they're just not going to make a purchase once they get there. You're wasting money. Facebook retargeting campaigns. So, creating audiences based on people who have shown some sort of intent, whether it be watching, your ad videos or adding your products to the cart, retargeting them through Facebook ads. Same thing on Google. And then making sure specifically that your cart and checkout process is optimized. One of the best ways to do that is to just add as many payment options as possible. So PayPal, Apple Pay, all that kind of good stuff. If you have a high ticket item, adding the ability to do a payment plan through something like a Sezzle or Afterpay, we've seen have a really good effect. So improving average order value. Bundles is a great way. So if you have historical data looking at products that have been purchased together most frequently and just creating static bundles of those combinations, offering discounts and incentives for bundling products together. Post-purchase upsells is one that we love. It always, really hits no matter what the brand is. It's just kind of creating a system of upselling additional products after the purchase has been completed, whether that be, through an app like One-Click Upsell and showing those on the thank you page, or before they make it to the thank you page, doing it through email. Same thing with pre-purchase, doing it in the cart drawer, doing it on the cart page. And then cross-sells and frequently bought with. So whether that be on the product page or through post-purchase emails, making customers aware of other products that you have, especially those products that may be a complement or an accessory to products that they've already purchased in the past. Average order value continued. Volume discounts. This is one I absolutely love, especially when you have the type of brand and product that lends itself to aggressive discounting. So this would be, for example, buy 2, get 20% off, buy 3, get 25% off, and so on. Incentivizing customers to buy more of the same product. Free shipping tiers. So again, this is one that's very common. A lot of, apps and tools out there for Shopify and WooCommerce that make this really easy to do. But incentivizing customers to spend more in order to unlock free shipping. Increasing the amount of products that you have on site is one that a lot of people don't think about very often, probably because it's one of the hardest and kind of requires the most investment. But if there are products that fit with current products you have that sell well or that your existing customers might buy, then it can always be a good idea to kind of add to your product line to improve that average order value, including a free gift. So if you have something relatively inexpensive that you can come up with as a brand to add to orders that spend a certain amount, that's a good way to kind of improve that average order value too. Improving purchase frequency. So post-purchase email flows. This is a great way. A lot of people have some sort of automation set up, right? Usually, most basic form is just an order confirmation, maybe a shipping confirmation. But to really go beyond that and continue to extract value from the customer through, asking for reviews and asking for referrals, as well as following up and getting them to, come back and repurchase is always a great idea. This works especially well for brands that have consumable products. If you know that, for example, the product within the last 30 days or so, you can have an automation that follows up that customer with a discount 30 days after they purchased the first time. And that would be that customer restock flow. Rewards program is a great way as well. So, some sort of loyalty program where each time they make a purchase or however much they spend, they unlock new rewards and discounts and freebies. Also with lifetime value and repurchase rate, just your regular email campaigns and newsletters are going to go far for keeping your customers engaged, keeping your brand in the back of their mind, and hitting them with unique offers and discounts along the way. Same thing through SMS, same concept, but through text message. Subscriptions. So again, if you have a product that lends itself to subscriptions, something that people might be buying over and over again or using recurringly, setting up automated subscription orders is one of the best ways to get people coming back to buy time and time again, because more often than not, if they, even if they like the product, if they're not on subscription, they might just forget to reorder it or, kind of find a different brand in their local store or whatever it may be. So this is a lot more secure way of generating those online or those recurring purchases. Creating a community. So creating an online group or a community around your product, whether that be a Facebook group or a school community or a WhatsApp group, really can kind of build a strong, loyal customer base that connects them to you in a way that isn't just related to your products or giving you money. Is a great way to kind of create those recurring purchases. So a couple of points to remember in conclusion. So it's important to understand what an acceptable or good conversion rate, average order value, and purchase frequency are for your specific industry and price point. Reason being is because if you know that, okay, let's say I'm in fitness supplements, and I know traditionally industry-wide, a good conversion rate is going to be 4%. And my conversion rate is right now 1.5. Then it's very obvious to me that that's an area of opportunity where there's probably a lot of things that I can do to improve that and thus improve my monthly revenue. If you're able to identify that one of the three metrics above is lacking, look to see which of the strategies for improving that metric you maybe aren't utilizing and implement that for a quick win. Again, also just kind of considering what might be the most applicable to your product and your brand. Prioritize optimizing conversion rate, average order value, and purchase frequency before focusing on new traffic driving channels if you can, because again, you're going to get more for your dollar. It's going to be a better investment when you do start spending on those channels if that traffic is being driven into an optimized environment. And something just to remember, the strategies we've outlined are just a few of what's out there for improving each metric. There's definitely a lot more. And we advise you to continue to do your own research. Another great thing that you can do is join our expert community. It's free for the first 100 members. So depending when you're seeing this video, you might be able to still get in free. And there's a lot of great value that comes along with that. There's a couple of more slides in this presentation, which I won't go through on the video, but they do explain a little bit more about that expert community, and they have a link to join that community. So again, just downloading this presentation is going to be a great way to find some of those additional resources. Again, I thank you for taking the time to, kind of learn this information with us. We hope that you will continue to engage with our channels and hopefully take advantage of some of these other opportunities that we have to help you out. And again, thank you for joining us.